Hey everyone, welcome back to The Fixture, presented by Women's ICC. I'm your host, Megan Reyes. I'm a freelance social media strategist and content creator in sports with a passion for amplifying underrepresented voices and stories. As always, I'm bringing to you each week's top news and stories in women's soccer. In this episode, we're going to recap the latest in the NWSL collective bargaining agreement, scores and highlights from the weekend, big signings, trades, transfers, and all that good news that went down in the last week. So let's get started. Okay, so now over in the NWSL, it was reported earlier this week by The Athletic's Meg Linehan that a work stoppage may be on the horizon if the league and its Players Association cannot agree to a collective bargaining agreement by the first day of preseason. In what would be the league's first CBA, the main wishes from the players are both higher wages and NWSL's version of free agency. The NWSLPA launched the No More Side Hustles campaign last season to bring awareness to the need for many players to have multiple jobs due to inequitable wages. So with preseason training starting February 1st, it will be really interesting to see how this all unfolds in the next few weeks. Now let's do a quick recap of this weekend's games. Barca women dominated the Supercopa final, beating Atletico Madrid 7-0 and grabbing their first trophy of the season. Carolyn Graham-Hansen was named MVP after her hat-trick performance and 2 assists. It is really also important to note that Atletico Madrid's Virginia Torresia played in the Supercopa final, which was her first match in almost 2 years after being diagnosed with a brain tumor. There is a wonderful video of her post-match receiving the captain's armband and celebrating not only with her team, but Barca's. Now over in Italy, Juventus women have won every single match in Serie A since February 2020, which I know both seems like yesterday and also 5 years ago. However, this weekend they ended up drawing with Fiorentina. And yet, despite the shared points, they still sit atop the table and remain undefeated in Serie A. And in France, Lyon pulled out a 3-2 victory in Montpellier with an 89th minute goal from Griech Mbakbati. Lyon continued to sit atop the table, having won their last 5. However, only 3 points separate them from PSG, who they themselves had a dominating 5-0 performance over Saint Etienne. PSG and Lyon are set to face each other next, so we have something fun to look forward to next weekend. And in the WSL, it was a fun and wild weekend. Here are full results from this weekend's matches. Some important things here to note: Manchester United's 3-0 win over Spurs makes it 6 in a row for them and puts them second in the league. Chelsea had high hopes of closing in on the title race, however, they were held goalless in Brighton, and the 0-0 draw was a pretty big blow to Emma Hayes and her squad. But Sunday's late match between Arsenal and Manchester City was drama-filled. It was a fun one. A 65th minute goal from Bunny Shaw gave Manchester City life. However, Arsenal was able to pull out the equalizer in the 92nd minute from none other than Tobin Heath. Tobin, it's so great to see you back on the pitch. We have certainly missed you. Arsenal is now first in the league with 26 points, but Manchester United and Chelsea are still within reaching distance. Plenty of soccer to play, lots of the season left, and we have lots to look forward to in the WSL. On to some other noteworthy news in the women's game this week. Gotham FC re-signed forward Midge Purce on a 2-year deal. Head coach Scott Parkinson said she is everything we want to be on and off the field. Midge was Gotham's leading scorer in 2021. And also, the club re-signed forward Ifeoma Onumonu on a 1-year deal, solidifying the club's attack. And over in the Pacific Northwest, OL Reign fans will be super happy to hear that midfielder Jess Fishlock re-signed with the club through 2023. Jess is the reigning 2021 NWSL MVP. And further down the coastline, Wave FC gets their midfield, both with Taylor Korniak and Emily Van Egmond via a trade with Orlando Pride. And speaking of Orlando, earlier this week the club announced they have signed the legendary Michelle Akers to their coaching staff, both as an assistant and player development coach. The game has missed Michelle, and it is so wonderful to have her back in the soccer world. And I would be remiss to not include Sam Kerr becoming Australia's all-time leading goal scorer, period. She passed Tim Cahill's record with her 51st goal in Australia's group stage match in the Women's Asian Cup. And then what did she do? She went on to score 3 more. Congratulations, Sam, you are an inspiration. Okay, it's time for my favorite segment, Tweet of the Week. I actually could not decide between two trending topics on the Bird app this week, so we're gonna talk about two. Okay, so first, the Sun. It's actually a tweet I don't like, but I think it's really important for us to talk about. If you missed it, the Sun published a headline likening sex to the names of the Chelsea women's scorers in their West Ham United match. It's tasteless, sexist, offensive, and yet another example of the lack of respect towards the women's game and its players. Offenses like this are why I'm so adamant about more representation, not only in sports, but in all facets, including media and entertainment, because a headline like this would have never been published in the men's game. Please, let's be better. But in better news, earlier this week, the Iranian women's national team took the pitch in their first Women's Asian Cup appearance. Why does this story matter? Well, back in 2011, the women were banned from the Olympic qualifying games for wearing hijabs. In Thursday's group stage match against India, they drew 0-0 to secure their first ever point as they set to compete for a spot in the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. A reminder that football is and should be a space for everyone. Okay, everyone, that's what I have for you this week. Thank you for hanging out with me again on The Fixture. Be sure to find us on Twitter and Instagram at ICC Women and on Facebook, International Champions Cup. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Meg Reyes_. See you all again next week.